Camper45, any juice the Deebo to the Dolphins trade rumors? I've seen them out. There are Dolphins channels covered it too, of course. I don't think so. Then if the Dolphins didn't have Jalen Waddle and if they didn't already trade for Tyreek Hill, sure, maybe. But you've made Tyreek Hill the highest paid receiver in the NFL. Are you going to throw $60 million and a first-round pick at 2 receivers per year? Because that's what you're doing with Waddle. I don't think so. Deebo wants to be the highest paid receiver in the NFL. The Dolphins are light on draft picks right now. If he does get dealt, I think it's somewhere else. And if I were the Niners, I would just pay him. He's an awesome player, and I generally want to keep my awesome football players. When it comes to trades, there's been a lot more than usual in terms of big-name guys this year. So I want you to head to the comments section and predict who's next. Name a player. Could be a big name or a small name, like the Jimmy G one we had earlier. Name a player who you think gets traded this offseason. This is a pinned comment on today's video. So if the ad break comes, take advantage of it. Head down there and let me know.
Caleb, what up? With the protection and weapons the Dolphins have given Tua, do you think he could have a breakout year and be the MVP conversation next season? I will say this. I think Tua could be a very, very dark horse MVP candidate, and I'm going to give you these reasons. The offense is legit. If the offensive line can stay healthy, then the offensive line is going to be very good on top of that. If he can win his division, which the only team I really think he's got to beat out is Buffalo. Sorry, New England. Sorry, Jet fans. But if the Dolphins win the AFC East, they're probably going to be one of the best teams in the AFC, and if they do that, Tua's going to get a lot of recognition for that. I don't see Tua as being a top 20 quarterback, but sometimes some of these quarterbacks, they need a few extra pieces. Tyreek Hill, I would say, is a piece. He might be even more than that. It could happen. I've seen crazier things in the NFL. If you want to throw down $10 on Tua winning the MVP and it happens, you might get yourself a new boat that you can just, I don't know, go to all the Dolphins games down there in Miami Gardens, right? That's how it works. I know what you're doing today. What percentage chance is it that Tom Brady plays for the Dolphins this year? Oh, man, I'll say this. It's not a 0% chance. And there's going to be a lot of people out there like, oh, Tom said that it's not true. The Buccaneers said this isn't true. Tom Brady also said he was going to retire. And we've heard how many times this offseason that this will never happen. And then it happened. So, like, Brady was on a yacht with Stephen Ross. Stephen Ross, big Michigan donor. If anything, I believe he's the biggest Michigan donor there is right now. It's literally the School of Business at Michigan is called the Ross School of Business. Why? Stephen Ross. There's a lot of money there. If Stephen was like, hey, man, I'll give you a lot of money. I'll give whatever you want. This might sound crazy, but if you put Tom Brady on the Miami Dolphins, that team is legit. However, if I was Brady, I still think I have a better chance of making the Super Bowl being on the Buccaneers than I do Miami because of how much weaker the NFC is compared to the AFC. On top of that, how much weaker the NFC South is compared to the AFC East.
From Brokov, Khalil Shakir, Kyle Phillips, or Wan'Dale Robinson. 3 receivers who probably go 3rd round or 4th round. So Khalil Shakir is the wide receiver out of Boise. I've got a 4th round grade on him. I've got a very similar grade for Wan'Dale Robinson out of Kentucky. Both those guys are slots. They're undersized. And the same is true of Kyle Phillips, who is the 3rd for me on this list. But I've got, I always forget that he spells it with 1 L when I try to find him. I always get it wrong. 4th on him as well. Shakir and Robinson are higher on that board. I haven't stacked everyone, but I know my grades from that standpoint. So Khalil Shakir, Robinson, then Kyle Phillips. If you want more coverage on everything going on around the NFL, hit that big red button and subscribe. Not surprised to see a lot of draft questions right now. The draft is less than 2 weeks away. Hell, it's about a week away at this point. And I'm still cranking through my big board so we know what we're talking about come draft time, baby. If you haven't already, subscribe for the best YouTube coverage on the NFL at youtube.com/chatsportstv. From Lunds, what team needs the best draft to become contenders? Ooh, good question. I think you're looking at a team like the Saints. They are close to contenders, have two first-round picks. I think Philadelphia also fits that category.
Let's go to Jared Sanchez. Who's more likely to get traded on draft night? Deebo Samuel or Kyler Murray? I'm going to go I'm going to go Deebo Samuel because quarterbacks trades, they get a lot more crazy. And yes, this has been the one off season where trades, you just never know what's going to happen. But Kyler Murray's camp at this current point hasn't said that they want to be traded. Deebo Samuel has requested a trade. So for that reason and that reason alone, I'm going to go ahead and say Deebo Samuel. So with the first round pick, well, every single year the team that gets number one pick is usually the worst team in the National Football League. So who's the worst team in the NFL as it stands right now? I get who has the number one pick. That doesn't mean that they're the worst team right now because free agency happened. But if you were to tell me, Mitch, season starts tomorrow, who do you think is the worst team in the NFL? Let me know down in the comments.
NFL Daily is now also on Rumble. We have free and uncensored content for you guys. There's also sports, news, politics, tech and business from other video people on that platform. We're trying to grow the platforms you guys use. So if you're on Rumble, give us a follow, rumble.com/NFL Daily. And if you're not, go support us so we can dominate that video platform as well. From Taylor, is Antonio Brown's NFL career over? I didn't scream this time. There you go, JT. I think it should be. How many chances does one guy get? Every spot he's gone, it has been a disaster. So I think it should be because he is not worth the drama.
As it stands right now, before the NFL draft, who is the best team in the National Football League? It's a good question. Are you going to go with the defending champs, the Rams? What about Tom Brady and the Bucks? Oh, yeah. The AFC is loaded. Could it be the Chiefs, the Bills, the Raiders, the Chargers, the Broncos, the Browns? Like, there are so many teams out there. The Dolphins. I mean, who's the best team in the NFL? If you were to bet money right now on the team that wins the Super Bowl, who would it be? And then remember, I'm going to ask this question in 2 weeks from now after the NFL draft. I want to see if the answers remain the same. What's up, Vince? Who is the more valuable pick, Stingley or Jameson Williams? It depends on what your biggest need is, right? If you need a corner, it's Stingley. If you need a wide receiver, I'd say it's Jameson Williams. I don't see Derek Stingley falling out of the top 15. There is a draft where I could see Jameson Williams falling out of round 1. I don't think it happens, but I could make that argument more because of the injury. If an NFL team's not 100% sure if Williams is going to be ready for week 1, maybe they decide to go with a player like Jahad Dotson, Traylon Burks, Drake London. Like, the wide receiver market is a lot deeper, so depending on, let's say, if Stingley goes at 15 compared to Jameson Williams going at 25, I'll say the better value is Williams because if Williams is healthy, it's probably the first receiver taken off the board. So I'm going to go Jameson Williams. What up, Christopher C? My top 3 hot takes for the draft. Love hot takes. Matt Corral goes number 6. Kyle Hamilton falls out of the top 10. And McDuffie goes before Stingley. Thoughts? I'll actually say that Kyle Hamilton falling out of the top 10 is the most likely, and it's not because I don't like Hamilton. It's because every single year, safeties, it's hard to predict where safeties go, whether that be in free agency, whether that be the draft. Why? Because it's starting to turn into a position where the value is going down, and the fact that Hamilton had as bad of a combine as he did, I can understand it, but let me tell you this, if I was an NFL team, and Kyle Hamilton fell out of the top 10, I would look to trade up because, to me, he's a top 5 overall prospect. What up, Sammy Silver? How many first-round draft day trades do you see happening? Good question. So I originally said I would set the over-under at about 3.5. I'm going to go ahead and take 4 simply because this draft to me is going to be wonky with quarterbacks. And if quarterbacks start to slide down the board, I think trades could start happening. Even certain wide receivers, and even though the really good defensive draft, really good offensive line draft as well, that's not sexy names. I still think that teams are going to be looking at those quarterbacks, looking at those wide receivers and trading up. So my number is going to be 4, but you guys can let me know. Type O for over 3.5 or perfect. This is even better. How many trades happen in round 1? What do you think? 4, 3, 2? My number is going to be 4. What do you think, Orange Man Gator Balt? What do you think over there, Boomer Raiders 75? And then my opinion says 2. John Santos says 3. Well, guess what? We're going to find out sooner rather than later.